I haven't taken a minute. I was just outside a second ago petting the horses. Connecting in. I just said we've been yelling at you this week. I know. What do you want to discuss today? Listening. Okay, that's funny. Listening. A very common question is, how do you hear your guides? How do you listen to your guides? And they want to say, it's not about how, it's about actually doing it. Even if you do hear it, you ignore it. Yeah, I know most people do. Oh, and here's why. Many people learned, they're amending it to most people, learned to delegate authority. They're talking about delegating authority to other people. They said everyone knows the person that has an idea and walks around and checks with everybody else to make sure that they like it. Make sense? Everybody has that person. And so they want you to notice if you are delegating your authority in other parts of your life, because chances are you've delegated your authority in the listening part of your life as well. All humans have authority that is connected to source. They said, repeat that. Okay. All humans have authority that is connected to source. Every human. And a lot of plants and animals too. Well, that's good to know. And a lot of plants and animals too. And so in this particular case, they're going to give you the steps of listening. Oh, okay. First steps are notice when you're delegating your authority. That's step number one. In what areas of your life do you delegate authority? When you want to try something new, when you're not sure about something. Notice when you're delegating authority when it comes to doubt, because that's important. People who suffer from self-doubt frequently delegate their authority to others. They said, repeat that. People who suffer from self-doubt frequently delegate their authority to others. Oh, they also said, define authority. Authority is when a human or a person allows a person that is not them to have authority over their thoughts, actions, directions, opinions. That's authority. And when you are delegating your authority outside of yourself, then you are not listening to the self-directed authority in here. That's just an indicator that you're not. Because if you were, then you wouldn't need to, live by committee or poll. Next is when you notice it, notice what feeling comes just before the delegation, the wanting to delegate, because that's important. That feeling, that noticing, that having a direction from the inside is uncomfortable. So you're going to want to share it and check it. And now they want you to get curious about why it's uncomfortable. What about this has me feeling uncomfortable? Because we are now drilling down to the learnings, the rules of delegation. So it could be that you have a core memory of when I used my own directive and my own authority, my parents made my life very difficult. So I learned to delegate my authority in order to keep from having a difficult life. That's like a blanket thing. You can come to very specific things. Often people in female bodies were forced to delegate authority, so they would be training to be able to delegate their authority to the male. I know that's really sad to say, but it is truth in a male-dominated society. If it were reversed, then the males would be trained to give away authority in deference to the females of society. But in the Western case, the females are taught to delegate authority outside of themselves, so they are more easily dominated and manipulated, is the words that they're saying. They actually said subjugated, and I didn't want to say that, but see, I just said that. Subjugated. Now, when you come to that, so I'm doing this because I learned to do this at age 4, and I'm 35 now, and I'm still doing this. That is a big anger moment. And they said, yes, okay, take 15 seconds, enjoy your anger. God bless America. This is just makes me so angry, right? You're allowed to feel this anger. But if you use that anger as your force to change, the change will be incomplete and it will be twisted. The way to change is not through anger, but through turning your ability to love towards yourself. How do we do that? Well, there's another authority. In order to subjugate our will, we have to also give our love outside of our bodies. Those are the 2 things. They said there's 3 things. Take away the trust in our knowingness, take away our ability to care and love about ourselves, and then take away our authority. Those are the 3 things. So those are the 3 things you're going to knock down, and everybody has them at to some degree because that's being civilized. It just depends how far you let things go. I mean, clearly we can't all be walking around like we're 2-year-olds going, mine, mine, mine. No hit. That's not right. So every human has learned to socialize themselves by putting down their immediate selfish needs. I'm not asking you to go back there. What the guides are saying is simply notice when it crosses a line from being respectful of others to being disrespectful of self. There is a line in that. And if you do this consistently, you will end up as a human who doubts themselves almost at every turn. And it becomes a terrible struggle. I'm checking to see if they have anything else they want to add about that. It's such a dire thing. Do we have any hope we can give? Certainly. Notice when you're subjugating yourself. Just simply become aware of it, because the first step of changing is being aware that there is an issue and where the issue is located. The next step to change is to forgive yourself for doing this. Now, that is a blanket statement. What does forgiveness look like in this case? It simply means, do I truly believe this about myself? Is this something I want to hold on to? If not, then you say, well, I forgive you, little 3-year-old, 4-year-old self, for placing this rule, but this is an archaic law. Let's jettison. And so essentially it's, I love you, I forgive you, thank you very much for keeping me protected. It's a version of Ho'opono, where you are finding this moment in time, you are loving it, and you are releasing it gently without strings, attachments, malice, anger. Because when you have anger, it's going to keep a piece attached to you. It's very difficult to do all these shifts without anger, which is why they say, have your anger, notice the anger, and then say next. Yes, I've been trespassed against. Yes, I'm having an inside temper tantrum. How dare they? And then let it go. Because anger, yes, change happens through anger, but consistent and expanding change doesn't happen through anger. If you allow anger to be your force to move you forward, eventually it becomes twisted and dark. Okay. I haven't even checked to see if you guys can hear me. I hope you can. Isn't that terrible? So now they're ready to ask questions. answer questions. And I'm answering a question from Jenny. How do I get out of the struggle state of not supporting myself? Do I know your guides? No. Okay, let's go back to how does one shift out of struggle and into abundance? There's a really fun indicator to notice if you are blocking your goodness. And they want you to look yourself in the eye in the mirror and say these 3 words. I love you. And notice how that feels. Does it feel uncomfortable? Does it make you cry? Does it make you feel squeamish? Does it make you feel something other than relaxation and comfort? Because if it does, that's an indicator of blocking. And so I'm asking my guides if you want to move forward and help this person understand the source of the block and the release of the block. They said, sure. In this one's particular case, it's severe and early politeness. I'm saying that with a smile because this one was heavily socialized to be nice, to not be selfish, and to be nice. And with an added dose of judgment of others, nebulous others. What will people think? So judgment is one way that's used to control people. It's very effective. You will be judged in everything you do. And for people of Gen X, it would be random people on the street were allowed to judge you. Nowadays, it's illegal for Gen Z, but random people on the street will be allowed to judge you. And so in your case, in this one's case, the best thing for you to do in this moment is to become curious about, and they say you've heard this before, but they really want you to become curious about that uncomfortable feeling. And when you become curious, this is what it will look like. I'm sitting quietly or I'm walking and I'm casually thinking about that feeling of uncomfortableness when people are nice to me, or when things are good, or when people are being kind and good to me. And it makes me feel uncomfortable. I know I had to get over this same thing. And there's still essences of it. So it goes back to partially being trained so we can be subjugated. So, because if we don't need things, then it's easy to subjugate us. And this happened to males and females, not just females. It happened to, I know many males that were learned who were taught to stop being so selfish and subjugate your needs for the greater good. Unfortunately, the legacy of that is to block your own wealth and your own goodness. Now let's go back to the individual of Jenny, and they're saying, if this one were to quietly sit and simply think of situations and then question why a situation is true or not true. Like, here's an example. If someone bumps into me, I apologize rather than demand that they apologize to me. Why is that true? That's what they're talking about. Take small rules of the road questionings, and that will help you come to the root on your own. And this will work for a lot of people. So you, instead of saying, why can I not make any money, which is starting at the end, You want to start at the beginning and question the tiny things, because all things come from tiny actions, day-to-day decisions, small movements. And so you want to question the tiny things in order to make a global change. I hope that makes sense. Okay, let me drink. Okay. Oh, good. Jenny says, yes, that makes sense. Denise says, yesterday I could feel the anger and sadness, but it just wouldn't release. I wanted to cry all day, but I couldn't. Why and what to do about it? Okay. In this one's case, in Denise's case, the words that they're saying is, there is a judgment, as an unconscious, and they're cringing using unconscious because it really means unchallenged law, that those particular feelings are less desirable, available, necessary in your life than the other ones, and should be eschewed at all costs. They're suggesting doing it a different way rather than the traditional anger, tears, yelling, screaming, punching. There's times when I get so mad I just want to pound sand. If you know what I mean, you just want to pound sand. And it's exhausting. And that's also part of it for this person, for Denise. It's very exhausting. And then you have an emotional hangover the next day when you allow yourself to be that angry. Then you become depressed. So there are other ways to do this. How can one do this? Energetic grounding is one. And now they're going to teach you about frequencies. Really? Yes. There are certain healing frequencies that are universally true. The ones that people know about are audible, but there are also inaudible frequencies. And they are numbered 1 through 21, and they move different things. And they're based, they can be light, the color of certain. Have you ever noticed? This is what they're saying. They're showing that when you walk and you look upon water and you see the prism of sunlight reflected, sparkling at you, that it tends to lift your spirits. That's because that's an inaudible frequency coming into your body and healing you, for example. So there are ways that when you use the energetic grounding and you use the frequencies, which can be called upon by name, you just imagine that, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, it doesn't matter. You can just thoroughly allow those numbers to come to you, or you listen to certain sound frequencies. A lot of people use tuning forks. You hear the bowls, you hear there are many. You can go to YouTube and there's a million healing frequencies. They are all frequencies are not universal. I mean, yes, they're universally healing, but they're not universally healing for each thing. So being in sunlight is incredibly healing. Allowing yourself to fully, energetically, excuse me. Are you telling me you want me to stop talking about this? Yeah, you're beating a dead horse. Okay. They've been doing this to me lately. They've been choking me when they want me to stop talking. Thanks, guys. Essentially, do you get it? Do you get it? I hope so. Just energetic grounding, allowing yourself to experience healing frequencies. Mary Louise, what you said really resonated with me, since I am trying to work with my masculine energy, which is blocked, and I feel it is really related to my lack of authority and self-trust. Let me see. Lack of authority. Can you give me any advice on working on this? Sometimes I feel like a little girl waiting for an adult. There's the issue right there. You are sitting and waiting. Both you and Denise are sitting and waiting. You are waiting for permission to change. Why? You don't need my permission. You don't need God's permission. You don't need your parents' permission. You don't need anyone's. Sitting and waiting as if you're not waiting on the bus, people. It's not coming. It's not going to pick you up. When I first started meditating, I remember my first meditation session. It felt like I was sitting in a room waiting for a bus. Just this was years ago. And so I mentioned it to my sister and she laughed. She said, follow your curiosity. Allow yourself to be curious, because that's one of the first things that gets knocked out of toddlers is your curiosity. So begin there with your curiosity. You no longer have to wait. You no longer are required to ask for permission. So Denise, grounding with your feet in the dirt is not grounding. They want you to actually energetically ground. Putting your feet in the earth and hugging a tree will not do diddly squat as quickly as you want it to. And so right now they're going to lead everybody through a grounding exercise. Close your eyes, breathe in deeply, exhale completely. Breathe in one more time and hold your breath while you imagine an infinite extension cord in your abdominal cavity. Keep holding. Open the trapdoor and exhale at the same time. Let that grounding cord go all the way to the center of the earth. And then inhale when you feel it connect. There, I felt mine connect. And relax. Did that help? Did you feel that? That's much more peaceful in this room right now. I hope that helped. That's grounding. Now, you don't need to wait for permission anymore. And if Denise, if they said, if you feel like you're ready for an energetic hangover, then go ahead and start pounding sand, doing all the things that you wouldn't normally do, yelling and screaming and dancing and kicking and doing full-on adult temper tantrum. If you don't know how to do it, ask a man. That's a joke, by the way. So Michael is asking in the chat. Now, remember to ask in the Q&A next time, Michael. I'm considering taking a beginning class with Reiki to help myself with my own circulation and energetics. They said Tai Chi would be better for you than Reiki, but go ahead and do both if you want. I am having circulation issues from tremors to neuropathy, and I am seeing doctors. Yes, I take it to another level within to assist myself. The neuropathy is based on, they said, diabetes. Are you having issues with insulin? They said, watch your sugar content. Watch your sugar content. Number 2, next order of business is the neuropathy is created to not feeling so much. Your body's taking it literally. Tai Chi will help you more than Reiki. So if you can find a Tai Chi class, do that. And get very advanced in Tai Chi. Or if you can't find that, do a Taekwondo. Because it's about being able to move energy up, down, sideways, and around. Here's the issue with Reiki. When people are learning and they work on other people, they are not necessarily clean and clear, and you will pick up other people's shit. OPS. Just remember that with Reiki, the energy must first pass through another human body. And there is some level of contamination, even with the highest Reiki masters. Qigong is better if you can find a course in that. Or Jinshin is called Qi and Shin Jiu-Jitsu. That is also a little higher level than Reiki. Reiki is just easily available. You know, it's like the Toyota Corolla. They're freaking everywhere. But yeah, I wouldn't want to go cross country in it. You know, Denise said Qigong is awesome. Yes, Qigong is higher and a higher quality. But they said for you personally, simply studying Tai Chi will accomplish what you are looking for, which is being able to consciously shift and move energy within the body. Okay. I hope that helps, Michael. I hope that helps. And so this has been interesting. Anybody have anything last clarification that they're asking for? And I'm going to post this in the Facebook group. If you aren't a member of the Facebook group, let me know, but I think you probably are. And I will post this recording in the Facebook group. Any final questions? And I'm sorry about the link changing for the folks that missed it.